Hello, people. Your man is back. Big Boss Calvin 83. Oh, I got to talk about this. I didn't listen. Normally I listen to the Steve Harvey morning show, but I think I'm kind of glad that I didn't do it yesterday because oh my goodness, I cannot stand this bastard. I cannot stand this light-skinned, bougie ass Negro pen step and fetch Negro pen fruitcake motherfucking bitch of a so-called male, if you know what I mean. I can't stand that coon ass nigga. I can't stand that coon ass Negro pen Uncle Ruckus motherfucker that always cooning and buffooning for Caucasian folks. I can't stand Steve Harvey. He's also a man, Johnny. He's a fucking pussy. He is such a male feminist. It's just so. I just don't understand why would a man want to be a fucking feminist for a so-called issue that has nothing to do with your ass, and you do not benefit from it. And don't you dare tell me, guys, that we're getting something out of it. Oh, we're getting our dick sucked and we're gonna get pussy. Are you fucking serious? It's because women can be whores and sluts. But my thing is not you. A lot of us like to use the term women are whores and sluts, but no, they are being whores and sluts to certain type of dudes. They're not doing it to all men, because if that was the fucking truth, all of us men, who are of age would not still be fucking virgins. You know what I'm saying? Would not be lonely and suffering. We would not have this issue of men. A lot of men out here who are deprived love and sex. And deprived of a companion, and deprived intimacy from a woman, love and affection. You know what I'm saying? All of us men will have women. We will all be getting sex left and right. But what you have to understand is that women, over 80% of women, are chasing less than 20% of the men out here. 20% of the males, over 80% of the females in the population is chasing less than 20% of the males. That means most of us men are fucking lonely and suffering from loneliness. This is why I say true forced loneliness exists. No, you know what I'm saying? That is like, but I don't want to get off the subject because I can't fuck Steve Harvey. I cannot stand that motherfucker. I cannot stand that bootlicking, step and fetch, house nigger, bougie, Negro pen, fruitcake, manjana, bitch, ass motherfucker. So bitch made. What Steve Harvey did was fucking all uncalled for. No, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to just give you the background how I know Steve Harvey. I don't know him personally, obviously, because I don't fuck with people like that, but even if I was in that same economic, social status and economic class, I would not fuck with dudes like that because he's a fucking coon. And I don't fuck with coons. I don't deal with coons. I hate coons. I hate these handkerchief head, Negro pen, fruitcake bitches. Yeah, male and female. Anybody who is a mammy, who's a bedouin, who's a Aunt your mama, Aunt Thomasina, and Uncle Ruckus. You know what I'm saying? I cannot stand a dude I cannot stand males and females of color who got a European mindset, who are proud and okay with being a fucking coon, who are proud and okay of being a fucking Negro pen, proud of selling out in front of their own community, who got them where they're at, who got them to be successful, who supported them when they didn't have a goddamn thing, when they were living in that broken home, especially if they were raised by a single mother. And I think Steve Harvey was raised by a single mother because of the way he behaves and acts and talks, and raised around women too damn much by his mamas and aunties and women in his family. That's why he's so feminine. Motherfuckers, getting all the support from the so-called black community, and then when these Negroes make it, they want to sell out. But I mean, and y'all females are should be ashamed of yourselves to defend this this Negro peon, I should say, this fucking house nigger. You should be ashamed of yourself. I bet you if he married a Caucasian woman, oh, you call him a sellout. Then y'all women are you so-called black women. I'm sick and tired of your fucking selective outrage. Y'all y'all criticize us men as a fucking whole of selling out and cooning because we don't agree with certain things, or we talk about personal responsibility and accountability, or you don't like certain men who are real men. I don't believe in that alpha male term, and I don't believe there's no such thing as an alpha male or beta male. None of those are just made up concepts. Social engineering. Do your research. You know, men like myself who are not feminists, who don't believe in who believe in true equality and accountability and responsibility across the board. Men don't take no shit from nobody. We hold everybody to the same standard. We're consistent. No, see, we're not gonna let nobody. We're gonna be the leaders and say this is where we're going and this is what we're doing. And we'll listen to your input, but we have the final say. You don't like men like that. You don't like it when men don't kiss your ass and pander to you. And that's what Steve Harvey does. He kisses women's asses, particularly so-called black women's asses. This man, this piece of shit ass male is a disgrace. And the fact that y'all make excuses for these type of males because they pander to you. Oh, he has to work hard. You don't understand the struggle. What fucking struggle? He got money. He made it. I understand the more money you have, the more problems you have, and the more haters you have. I understand that. But it's funny how you women give guys like Steve Harvey passes, but brothers who, for some reason, who don't worship the so-called black woman or who are patriarchal and traditional and who hold themselves to the traditional male standard that y'all say you want, but you really don't want. But the only time you're okay with that when you benefit off of patriarchy, but at the same time you are matriarchal, you are feminist, and y'all women are situational. I mean, Steve Harvey has never done a damn thing for the so-called black community. Okay, I would say Bill Cosby has done more, but you know, that you say the charities, when people do these charities and these certain programs, technically they're tax write-offs. But I would say in Bill Cosby's defense, you know, he has did try to change the way how we are portrayed in the media. So I give him credit. You know, he lost points, you know, in 2004 when he started criticizing us, saying we need to conform in the civic to a bunch of people who don't fucking like us. Can't co-sign that shit. And then thinking he can lecture us and be all self-righteous when he's doing wrong. I can't respect that out of nobody. Steve Harvey's worse. And these other males, but y'all Negro females give them passes because they marry so-called black women. I ain't never heard that. So they don't matter who they fucking marry, and I don't give a shit if they ain't about the team, if they ain't speaking truth to power. You know, you're my enemy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way, and that it is what it is. Steve Harvey, you know, I mean, the way I knew who he was when he used to have that show, Steve Harvey. That's how I discovered him, and I liked him. I thought he was funny, and a few times he told jokes and all that stuff, but it wasn't really funny to me. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if this is the correct test. I gotta get my laptop fixed. And I'll continue more on this later. I'm back, people. All right. What I'm saying is that, you know, when I started like noticing Steve Harvey and how he has made progression through his career as being rich and famous, I noticed there's a pattern going on here, and but you know, we all know this, but for some reason we know we are way more critical when men sell out, but when women sell out and coon, and they Negro bedwench at the same damn time, we are more forgiving and more, we make excuses. And I know the only time when certain so-called black men who are successful get certain passes as long as they're worshiping the so-called black coochie. let's keep it real. And even if men are successful, like I said, over 80%, like about 89% of brothers who are successful are married to so-called black women, but sisters don't acknowledge that. They're so worried about men who step outside the community, and we don't know if it's love or not. I'm pretty sure the majority, to some degree, it is. You know, when people, we don't know what's going on. What people do in their personal life is really none of our business. But you women scream the loudest and are so critical of so-called black men. If they don't want to marry you, or they didn't choose you, maybe he loves sisters, but he fell in love with a Caucasian woman, or or a woman of a different ethnicity. Maybe he fell in love and that's how it happens. Sometimes that shit happens. But y'all sisters, when y'all hop the fence and y'all get with Caucasian males mainly, and sometimes other men of other ethnicities of color, oh, it's all love and all blah, blah, blah. It's like a double standard. It's a fucking double standard. I just don't fucking get it of the selective outrage. But you have dudes who are known to sell out. Dudes who pander to so-called black women, mislead them, send y'all down the wrong path, tell you what you want to hear, never hold you accountable, never call you out on your bullshit, but they will bash their own brother, throw the so-called black men, other black men underneath the bus, and y'all sisters okay with that. Oh, and this dude, Steve Harvey, has done dirt. And he's been married multiple times, but y'all still take advice from him and write your letters to him like he knows what he's talking about. And I hate the fact that he always speaking up for all men, particularly us as so-called black men. And they're like, we all think the same way. No, we don't think the same way. No, you think that way. And you can't talk to me because you got money. You can get bitches like that because you got money. The only reason why most women give men a pass to beat them up, treat them like shit, cheat on them, lie to them, fuck them over, because these dudes got money. If Steve Harvey did not have money, if he was the average Negro out in the hood of Cleveland, Ohio, y'all sisters would not take him seriously. Even if he did speak truth to power, even if he was highly intelligent, y'all would not pay him no mind. Even if he said he loved so-called black women and loved sisters, y'all would not give him no time of day. And if he did coon, but if he was broke and he was cooning, oh, you would slam him. We got to do better, people, especially you women. Sisters, y'all got to do better. I mean, I'm tired of the selective outrage that you fucking have for certain types of men. Certain types of dudes can do all types of dirt, and you give them a pass. Especially if you want to get with a Caucasian male doing all types of evil, wicked ass, dirty shit, especially treating y'all like shit on ghetto gaggers. Y'all give him a pass. I don't understand the selective outrage that you women have and just people have about so-called black celebrities. We make excuses for them when they actually got enough. They got technically, they got to some degree, they got some room to fuck up, because if they fuck up, they can buy lawyers and get them out of shit and pay their way out of shit. Sometimes they can, and sometimes they really can't. Not like other people out of other ethnicities, especially Caucasian people, because when Caucasian people, particularly Caucasian males, do dumb shit, do dirt, fuck up, do evil, wicked ass shit, oh, they get out of it because of white privilege. And if they got money, you know they're going to get out of it, like Donald Trump. Grab them by the pussy, remember? The fact of the matter is, when Steve Harvey got into it with that guy, I saw the clip. There was this clip floating around on YouTube, and I listened to the show when the guy called in from Flint, Michigan. They were talking shit about which is better, the Bay Area, Oakland versus Cleveland, Ohio. So, and they were talking about which team was better. The guy was talking junk. He was talking junk. And all of a sudden, this guy said, hey, we wanted my team, the Golden State Warriors, won the championship, and LeBron lost. Steve Harvey got in his feelings, got like a little bitch, and started hitting below the belt. And Shirley, I can't stand that bitch either, because she a fucking coon too. A fucking bedwench. Keeping it fucking real with y'all people. Started saying, calm down. Hey, don't watch what you say. Steve Harvey did not watch when it said I could say whatever I want. Not in those exact words, but I'm just telling you what he implied. So he says, well, he started criticizing the guy, putting him down, talking about the water crisis. You talk about enjoy your glass of brown water. I don't know what he said word for word, but I'm paraphrasing when he said, at least he's talking about how he got money and stuff and how he's comfortable. And he started rubbing it in the guy's face and talk about, well, I don't live in that area where I have a water problem. You don't know if you have a water problem or not. I don't know where you live, Steve Harvey. You live out in California, or you live out in Dallas, Texas, or you live somewhere out in the East Coast. But you live in so-called white suburbia around a bunch of Caucasian folks, like many Negroes do when they get money. They move out. They try to run away from their people and so-called blackness. Even if they're married to a so-called black woman and got kids from a sister, they still do that. They still do that coon shit. Women do it too. So both sides are guilty on that part. So we need to start insulting the guy and making fun of him. And because Steve Harvey can be a condescending, mean ass, disrespectful bitch, talking about judging a man or what he does for a living, or if a guy lost his job, make fun of him, put him down, talk about he ain't a man if he ain't got no money. Money don't make you a fucking man, Steve. Money made the man. Money does not make a man. So you don't have true manhood. If you had true manhood, and it's all about your character, what you stand for, what you believe in, standing up for what you think is right or wrong, or pushing back and clapping back against wrongdoing and calling out wrongdoing and exposing that shit, standing up for what's right and defending what's right, protecting the people who are down for you, people who are there for you, standing up for what's right, protecting the people who give a shit about you and defending them, and defending people who need help, really need help. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes a man. Is about your morals. It's about your character. It's about your integrity. It's about your heart. That makes you a man. It's about standing up for what you believe in, rather in standing for something. Other people believe it's right or wrong, even if it's right, even if it's the wrong thing or the right thing. You're standing by something. You stand up for something. That's what makes you a man. But it's your heart and your integrity. And if you can physically defend yourself and go after what you want. And sometimes you are judged as a man based on your physical strength too, and your intellect. More so your intellect nowadays. But it's all about your character and your heart and your dedication and commitment of what you stand for, what you believe in, what you know, and sometimes what you think and what you actually know is the right move and the right decision. What's better, what's good for you and good for people and good for your family and people within your community. That's what makes you a man. That is real manhood, not money. And then to say, oh, you enjoy your brown, oh, you and your people who live out in Flint, Michigan, enjoy your brown glass of water. That was uncalled for. That was out of pocket, dude. Because over a fucking fake ass rigged fixed basketball game, over a fucking ball game, you got it in your fucking feelings. We're going through rough times out here. But you people are still gonna listen to this motherfucker. You women are still gonna support him and buy his books and shit. Talk about, oh, he loves the sister. He loves black women. I love sisters too, but I would be damned. I'm not gonna let y'all get away with some dumb shit. You can love your kids, but if they get out of control, you gotta discipline them. If a woman is out of control, man, she gotta be checked and disciplined. She gotta be corrected. You know what I'm saying? If you love somebody, you're not going to let them just do dumb shit and let them get away with it. You're going to tell them, hey, these are the consequences and repercussions of what you do in life, good or bad. You're going to hold people accountable. You're going to hold all sides accountable, not just one, and let the other one get by with it like Steve Harvey does with women. You know what I'm saying? I love women too, but I'll be damned. If a bitch is fucking wrong, I'm going to tell her she's fucking wrong. If she's fucking right, I'm going to tell her she's right. If she's making poor choices, I'm going to say you're making poor choices. You're fucking up. And if you got kids involved and family involved and other people involved and you're trying to drag people into your bullshit, I'm going to call you out on it. Just like I will call a man out. I'll call a man out who's doing dumb shit and fucking up. If somebody's doing good, I acknowledge it. If a woman's doing good, I acknowledge it. But when men are doing good, we don't get acknowledged. But women do well. they get acknowledged. When women do fuck up and do dumb shit and fuck up and make bad decisions and poor choices, we don't hold them accountable. We let them off the hook and blame it on the man. I'm tired of the gynocentric, pussy-whipped, tampon-wearing, fruitcake, faggot males out here, especially you Negro-peeing coon-ass males who are so bitch-made, always defending women no matter what, making excuses for what they do. But y'all women make excuses for what Steve Harvey does, for his cooning, for selling out. When I still can't get over the fact when that Caucasian woman on his show was talking about how can she talk about, because it was like Black History Month a few years ago, and she was talking about how can I have an understanding of what so-called black people went through, and about slavery and Jim Crow, and have love and compassion, and know what I gotta do as a Caucasian person to fight racism and stop Caucasian supremacy. That's what basically she was asking. Steve Harvey said, oh, I don't care about slavery. Basically what I'm saying is Steve Harvey is a fraud. When y'all read that book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, that I know that's bullshit. That's a scam. And you women keep falling for it, looking for the answers. Why don't you ask men who are in your same social and economic background, same category, rich or poor, middle class? Why don't you ask guys who are staying in your lane, and ask guys? You just ask a bunch of men, what it is, and ask them the honest question. What's the disconnect, and what do you think it is, and why is it like that? But you women don't ask us men questions, and you avoid men like myself who will tell it like it is, because you want to hear what you want to hear. You don't want to hear the truth. And that kind of attitude is the reason why the so-called black community is like it is fucked up, basically, because we reject the truth based on how we feel about it. Your feelings don't change the truth, as Sherazad Ali said. Your feelings don't change the truth. The truth is a reality, and it will always be there. No matter how dismissive you are of it, no matter how in denial you choose to live, and turn your back to it, the truth is always there, and that's how it is. The truth will always be there. And the fact of the matter is, when that guy, that politician out in Michigan, Flint, Michigan, or Detroit, Michigan, Flint, Michigan, I think it's Flint, Michigan, Phil Saar, the politician that resigned because of his racist, because he was a racist and said racial things about us as so-called black people, saying, oh, us niggers, the reason why we have the Flint and water crisis, which is not our fault, because niggers don't pay their bills. That was some out-of-pocket shit. Like, you don't have Caucasian people who don't pay their fucking bills, especially poor Caucasian people. You got a lot of Caucasian people who got bad credit, and they can still get shit because of white privilege. That's how systematic racism works. Institutional racism works. Even if a Caucasian person has bad credit, poor work history, and a fucking record, they can still get shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but when Phil Stair, as you would spell like stairs, Phil Stair said what he said about people of color and poor people, that was way out of line. And y'all went ape shit because, oh, that was racism. And you got some coons out here defending the fuckery, defending the racism, and standing by Caucasian supremacy, and victim blaming us, when the people who live out in Flint, Michigan, especially if they can't afford to live in certain, upscale neighborhoods that have the best resources and have resources, period, and the best water, the best food, the best schools, the best neighborhood, don't have to worry about disenfranchisement, got jobs, don't have to worry about crime, even though there's crime, even though it's more white collar crime and the sneaky underhanded shit by Caucasian people who commit crimes. The fact of the matter is that water crisis was done by design. That was an inside job to kill off and hurt people of color and poor people, specifically people of color, because that's how Caucasian people, racist ones, get you. Take your money. They don't want us to have nothing. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you to have jack shit if you're a melanated person. If you're when you're a person of color, yeah, they don't want you to have nothing, y'all. They don't want you to have nothing. They will try to disenfranchise you economically just so they can stay on top. That's Caucasian supremacy. When all y'all Negroes, y'all know who y'all went in and demanded that he be fired and be resigned, because, you know, which is the same. Well, actually, when they fire you, you can't get a pension. You can't get benefits when you get fired. That's why they ask you to ask a Caucasian person to resign when they say racist shit. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, with Steve Harvey, what's the difference between what Phil Stair said, you know, versus what Steve Harvey said? They basically, it's almost the same equivalent. When Steve Harvey said, all you people, especially to that guy who lives out in Flint, Michigan, enjoy your glass of water because of the fact that he was joking around, talking junk about about the Golden State Warriors being a better team than the Cleveland Cavaliers, and how LeBron ain't all that. I mean, to hit below the belt and be that emotional and butthurt shows his maturity as a man. He ain't a fucking man. He's a fucking bitch. You know what I mean? And for y'all to demand that politician out in Michigan get fired, how come y'all not boycotting Steve Harvey? Why are y'all still buying his products, buying his books, keep supporting him, watching his game show, being a host of the game show, being a host of the beauty pageant, watching these shows that he's in? Why do y'all keep supporting this man? And because he's a fucking coon. He's a fucking sellout. He's a fucking Negro pin, because he told so-called black people, oh, don't you talk about President Obama. No, wait your turn. Let him take care of all these other groups, and we get nothing. Coon shit like that. Oh, but then he's telling this Negro pin faggot is telling us, oh, we need to support Trump and give him a chance. Give the Republican Party a chance. How about give no party, such as the Republican and Democrats, how about we give them how about we give these Caucasian Caucasian politicians, even if they're president or in Congress, how about we hold them accountable and call them out on their bullshit? How about we boycott the system? Now, if you want to vote, fine, but I'm just saying, voting, it takes more than voting to get change. How about we stop celebrating the holidays? You got the 4th of July coming up, and I know a lot of y'all Negroes are still going to celebrate that shit. You celebrated Thanksgiving, you celebrated Halloween, you celebrated Christmas, you celebrated Valentine's Day, President's Day, Memorial Day. You still honoring these Caucasian holidays. And y'all still refuse to boycott. You still choose to. Y'all don't want to support your so-called black businesses that are black owned businesses. Y'all don't want to support that shit. You bought into that fucking line ass narrative. Oh, we have poor products. Oh, it costs too much. They give shitty service. When meanwhile, you motherfuckers have no problem going to these other groups establishment who don't look like you, and they disrespect you. They follow you in their stores. They're nasty to you. They're rude and mean and disrespectful. They demean you. They telling you to hurry up and buy. If you're in here too long, we're gonna call the cops on you. You go for that shit. They charge the stuff that you buy, especially out in the hood. Oh, it's a overcharge, but you're fine with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck Steve Harvey and fuck all these Negro peeing, handkerchief head coons, male and female, who sell out and throw the so-called black community underneath the bus and victim blame us for situations of us being victims of Caucasian supremacy and racism. And yet these Negroes who think they made it, oh, they want to support the system. Even though there was once upon a time when they were disenfranchised and struggling and didn't have shit. Now, since they arrived, they want to forget who they are and run away from the so-called blackness and just throw, and the people that supported them, which was us, oh, they want to say fuck you and give you the middle finger and leave and disassociate themselves among us. They want to just be disconnected to us. Oh, but when they get your nigger moment, they want the same so-called black community to rescue them. Fuck that shit. I hope Steve Harvey gets his nigga wake-up call. I hope something happens to him. I hope he gets a wake-up call real fast, because he needs one. With his sellout coon ass. But if y'all want to support him, we can't complain, because you think Caucasian people, you know, are your enemy, but guess what? All skin. I don't know how you say the saying. Just because they're the same skin color as you, just because they got dark brown melanated skin, light skin or dark skin, just because they are of African descent, just because they're a person of color, all skin folk and kinfolk, just because they are considered, just because they're a black person or a so-called black person or a so-called black identified person, and they look like you and I, that don't mean they're fucking down with us and they're not going to fight with us. And especially when they got a platform, that doesn't mean they're going to use it for good to help us out. And because these same Negro celebrities, they got money, they can help clean up shit. They can put their money together with other celebrities, other wealthy people, and they can help the black community overnight, build up stores, businesses, you know, hire our brothers mainly, and hire some sisters to help us out so we can, you know, get the piece of the American dream. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to piss off massa. It is so sad. I'm out. Peace. You know what I mean? Y'all do what you want to do, but we can't complain if we choose not to do anything to better our situation. Wake up. Peace. I just wanted to add this. No, I can't stand handkerchief head Negro pens like Steve Harvey and Charles Barkley and Stacey Dash and the rest of these coons out here. These coons out here. Now, I forgot to finish I forgot about the point when that Caucasian woman asked Steve Harvey about how can she understand the so-called black experience, no history about slavery and Jim Crow, and how to better race relations, and what she needs to know as a Caucasian person to fight against Caucasian supremacy, and what can she do to end racism and help so-called black people and be sensitive to their plight. Instead of just Steve Harvey just saying being honest and saying, okay, let's have a dialogue, let's see if you're really serious. For him to say, oh, I don't care about slavery, just say that. That was not funny. That was not funny. There was nothing humorous. That was just he didn't want to offend his bosses and the Jews who writes his fucking checks. That's why he did it. You know, he didn't want to piss off his so-called white fans. If you saying something that's true and you speak an unpopular speech and you talk about your life experiences as a so-called black man, especially, and people of color, the lives of people of color in our plight and struggle in this country of America, kick it cut, free K's, don't get it twisted and don't get it fucked up. You know, you should be honest and just say what you feel. Oh, but you didn't want to make anybody uncomfortable and make her have so-called white guilt. There's no such thing as white guilt. Because if Caucasian people had guilt, they would have did the right thing a long time ago. First of all, they wouldn't have, you know, fucked up the planet, enslaving people of color, slaughtering, committing genocide on indigenous people, and just committing mass genocide on people of color, and colonizing, and stealing land and resources, and being the culture vultures that they are. They would have made sure that my ancestors, and myself included, have 40 acres and a mule and have land in this country, have reparations like everybody else had. And they would have ended Caucasian supremacy and killed the system of racism, because racism is a system. That's what the Caucasian people, if they claim to be so good and down for so-called black people, they would have did that shit. But no, the reason why they want to keep us subjugated and to keep us oppressed and keep being racist towards us and victimizing us and terrorizing us, raping our women and children, as people of color, and raping the men too, and lying to us and deceiving us and lying on us, we get falsely accused and get falsely imprisoned or brutally murdered, and our families get murdered and lose our livelihoods. The reason why they keep doing what they're doing, Caucasian people, these Caucasian supremacists, damn near all Caucasian people are racist. The reason why they keep doing it, because for them to have white privilege, they gotta keep somebody oppressed. They gotta subjugate other people. They gotta have a foot on our necks. They gotta have all the advantages while we have all the disadvantages. They gotta keep victimizing us, instilling fear in us so we can be docile and weak and be the go along to get along Negro peeing coon. Well, guess what? Those days are over as far as I'm concerned, because I'm not like that. I know people like me aren't like that and are not going to put up with Caucasian supremacy and keep dealing with racism and keep being victims of these evil ass hate crimes and be victims of racial terrorism and be a victim of having our character as so-called black people defamed and mocked, and have pushed it, and the Caucasian people keep pushing this narrative that we are the bad guys, we're the most violent ones, we're the thugs, we're the thugettes, we're the whores and sluts and baby mamas, we're dysfunctional. When these people are, the first baby daddy was a Caucasian male, the first deadbeat dad was a Caucasian male, the first baby killer was a Caucasian female, the first whore was a Caucasian woman, the first gold digger was a Caucasian woman. Prostitution started with Caucasian people. Homosexuality started with Caucasian people. The biggest, most violent people, the biggest killers, the biggest rapers, the biggest murderers and genocide killers. You know, and that's the truth. And if Caucasian people wanted to end racism today, they could do it. But yet instead they keep teaching their kids and passing racism down and keep holding on to this legacy of Caucasian supremacy. Because they like to stay in power and be on top. Because if you had true equality, they couldn't be the dominant group. And they're not even really the dominant group. They're the world's minority. They're the minority of the population, and they fear genetic annihilation from so-called black and brown people. You know, and the problem I have with Negroes who get some money and now they want to join and sit at Master's table is that they keep maintaining racism and Caucasian supremacy, and they don't realize it, nor they don't care until they get their nigger moment, nigger wake up call. You know what I'm saying? And I hope Steve Harvey and people like him, like your Larry Elders, your Stacey Dashes, your Charles Barkleys, I hope they get their nigga wake up call. Your Sage Steels, I hope they catch some hell from Caucasian people and suffer from it. Because I'm just sick of this shit. Anyway, that's all I got to say, and I just wanted to clarify that point. I'm out. Peace.